we are. Here's our final results for budget, production budget. As I have done in the previous videos, here's the completed filled out form. Of course, it's a little bit better than how I have written it on the prior video, but I just want you guys to follow along and make sure you understand it, okay? All right, so now we're gonna move on to our direct material purchase budget. Now, before we move on, I wanna make sure you understand it all starts with sales. And then from sales, based on what we expect our sales to be, then we are going to come up with our total number of production, how much we're going to produce of each product. Now, once we figure out how much we will produce for each product, now it's time to start thinking about how much product must I buy? How much direct materials or raw materials must I buy to support my production schedule, right? And that's what this particular area is all about, is determining how much materials to purchase in order to fulfill my production budget, which in essence helps me to fulfill my sales budget, right? All right, so direct materials purchase budget estimates the quantities of direct materials to be purchased to support the budgeted production and desired inventory levels. So step one of the process is to determine the budgeted direct materials required for production. And the way we do that is we're gonna look at the budgeted production volume. So we're gonna get that from the other budget before this, which is production budget. And then we're gonna multiply that times the direct material quantity expected per unit. Step two of the process is we're going to get the budgeted materials calculated in step one, and we're going to adjust for any beginning or ending inventories to be purchased. So we're going to subtract out any beginning inventories that we have, and then we're going to add in any desired inventories. Very similar to production, you never want to be completely out of a raw material. So you're typically going to buy more raw material just in case, right? Just in case you mess up or there was a bad batch or things of that nature, okay? So that's the formula we're going to use. And then last but not least, step three is to compute the budgeted materials to purchase. And remember, the purchasing is all done by the purchase of direct materials is all done by the procurement department or the purchasing department in a manufacturing company, okay? So in step three, you're gonna take whatever you found in step two and you're gonna multiply it times the unit price. So as we've done before, without further ado, I'm going to look at our breakout session. So if you're following along, make sure you get your handout now. And now we're going to look more into our paper, okay? So this is what it should look like. All right, so we're on this part now, right? All right, so part A tells us, or we're gonna do material A. So what you should know is if you're looking at this page, in order to make product K and product L, we need both material A and material B to do so, right? So you need both of those parts, all right? So for product K, the one we're looking at or focus on right now is product K, right? So here, how it's going to start off is we're going to try to figure out how many pounds, because that's how we're calculating all of this, how many pounds of material A is needed to produce product K and how many pounds of material B is needed. And then vice versa, or likewise, we're going to do the same thing for product L. All right, so let's look at this top page to help us figure this out. All right, so what we're going to use is the information in section D. It says direct materials used in production. So for product K, we need both material A and B, and it says in order to make product K, basically, we need 0.7 pounds per unit of material A, and then for material B, we need 1.2 pounds per unit, okay? Now, if that's per unit, well, how many units of product K are we making? Well, then that goes again back to production, our production our production schedule. So let's start with material A first. Let's do the calculation for material A. Material A. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to take, we say for material A, it's 0.7 pounds per unit. Now, how many units of K we're going to make? Well, if we go back here, it says for product K, we're going to make a total of 39,500 units, right? So we're going to multiply this times 39,500, right? And so once we do this calculation, we come out with an amount of 27,650. That's what goes here, 27,650. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing for B. We said for B, we needed one material B, we needed 1.2 pounds, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 1.2 pounds. And we're going to make a total of 39,500 units, right? So once we do this calculation, we come up with 47,400. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing for L, right? So if I can quickly erase this. So for product L, if I go back to my top sheet, product L tells us we need product A and product B, but we need different quantities. We need 3.5 for material A and 1.8 pounds per unit for material B. All right, so what we're going to do is come back here. So we're going to have material A and material B, right, for product L. And then we said that for product L, we need a total of 3.5 pounds of material A, right? Times what are our quantity? Well, if we go back here, we're producing a total number of 19,300 of product L. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do multiply times 19,300 units. Okay. So once we do that, we come up with a total of 67,550 pounds. Come on. Okay. Do the same thing for B. It says for B, we need a total of 1.8 pounds, I believe. Yes, and we're going to multiply that times the 19,300 units that we are going to manufacture, right? So once we do that calculation, that comes up to 34,740 pounds. All right, now we're going to look at our desired units of inventory as of July 31st, right? So here, I want to go back here and I'm going to clean this up a bit so it's not everywhere. But here it says we're looking for the desired units of inventory as of July 31st. All right, so here's July 31st. And we're talking about materials now. Now we're no longer talking about product K and L. We're talking about the materials involved. So we're saying our desired ending inventory as of July 31st for material A is 3,000 pounds and B is 2,500. So that's what we're going to put here. Remember, it is a plus. So we're going to do 3,000 here. And then this one is 2,500. All right, so a little messy, but that's okay. You get where I'm coming from. So if we add that all up, we come up with 98,200, right? So we're going to add up material A for product K, material A for product L, and then our desired ending inventory as of July 31st. And then we're going to do the same thing for material B. And so that comes out to 84,640. Now, what we're going to do is subtract out the inventory that we already have. So if I go back here, I'm going to look at my estimated inventory as of July 1st. And here is my material A and B, right? This is what we already have in inventory, so we don't need to buy that all over again, right? So that's 4,000 for material A and 3,500 for material B. So I'm going to go back here, subtract out 4,000 here and subtract out 3,500 here. So once I do this calculation, I do the 98,200 less 4,000, I come up with a total of 94,200. And then the same thing for here, we come up with 81,140 pounds. All right, so now we understand how many pounds we need for material A and material B. But usually when you go out to a manufacturer, you don't just say, oh, I need 94,200 pounds of this material. Yes, you can say that, but it's a direct materials purchase budget. And when you're purchasing something, you're trying to derive what is the cost. So now it's up to us to go figure out what is the unit cost for material A and for material B, okay? So if I look through here, here it is in E. It tells us that the unit cost for direct materials is, material A is $4 per pound and material B is $2 per pound. All right, so that's what I'm gonna put here, $4 per pound. And then here is $2 per pound. So at this point, I can now calculate what is my total direct materials to be purchased for material A and B to fulfill my production budget and to fulfill my sales budget, right? So if I do 94,000 times 200, 94,200 times 4, excuse me, you should come out with 376,800. And we're going to do the same thing for material B. We're going to take the 81,140 pounds needed times the $2 per pound, and we come out with 162,280. Now, the last step, you can come out with your total direct materials to be purchased. And if we add these two numbers together, the 376,800 plus my $162,280, we come up with a grand total of $539,080. That is our direct materials purchase budget. Okay, so hopefully that all made sense. Now we're going to take a break, and the next thing we're going to look at is labor. How much labor is required? Okay.